that. It only gives me so much time when you have a lot of videos, so I had to go and delete a couple of videos. So this is part 2. Um, your daughters have to hear it coming from their father how things could happen in a relationship with a guy when they're young, because mentally they're not prepared for that. Their mother can teach them only so much before you have to come in and tell them exactly what it is. I have a son who just turned 13 years of age, and I've had to talk with him. I made sure he understood um, not so much the physical part of it, but the mental part of it, the emotional part of being in a relationship. Because even as an adult, you really don't really understand it all the time. And it becomes nerve-wracking at times. So when I tried to explain it to him, he was like, I mean, that's cool, but I'm really not interested in that right now. I'll come to you. And it's cool because I've built such a rapport with him that I know he would really come to me if he ever gets the idea that he would like to and figure it out, as we call it. But I'm glad he's still in dumb land as far as with that, or he's in responsible land as far as like he's just not interested. He has things that he wants to accomplish in his life he's barely 13. On the other side of it, having twin 11-year-olds is a little different because one went through the circle of life and I'm waiting for the other one to go through the circle of life. But it is more nerve-wracking when you have to worry twice as much. But when the time comes, I will have to have that difficult talk so they will understand about life. Now, let's switch over from that to parenting and co-parenting. Your children will take on the attitude that you deliver to them. So let me start with fathers. If you're a father and your kid is messing up and you don't step in, I don't care if you have a wife, girlfriend, etc. If you don't step in when your daughter or your son is all the way out of control and you're trying to reel them back in, it's going to be too late. A friend of mine, we speak on, I guess, like because of grades in school, we're very, very on the same page when it comes to our kids being the best that they can be, and schoolwork is never an exception to it, right? But then when you look at the parent, like you're the parent that's always the hard parent, you're the parent that's always, hey, this schoolwork needs to be done, da-da-da, etc. But when you have one parent who rewards bad behavior, you are fighting an uphill battle that you can't win all the time unless you become as ignorant. You would have to become an ignorant parent with the other parent. You would have to become ignorant with them because sometimes the other parent's not going to be able to adapt to you being like, look, I need you to help me get this kid to understand that if this doesn't happen, this is going to happen. You can't reward bad behavior. But then there's that parent that always wants to be the cool parent. Well, shoot, that's on your watch. It ain't on mine. Then your child sees that and hears that, and it develops the attitude of the parent. I truly believe that if you are not engaged in your children's life on a regular basis, you can destroy your children, period. Period. I have co-parent with my baby moms, and let me explain something to you. It was easy to co-parent with one than it was with the other. Because if you're on the same page as far as you want your kids to be successful, that's where you guys' line is. Okay, we both want what's best for our children. What happens is that 9 times out of 10, you have somebody, the father has a new woman in his life, the mother has a new dude in his life, in her life, and the new people in their life start giving their opinion when they shouldn't. Now, it's facts that if you allow that, then nonsense is going to happen. I'll give you this. I co-parent with the children, my kid's mother, very, very, very well. Because when I was trying to do it like, oh, I'll just be a tough parent, it didn't work. I co-parent with my daughter's mom all the way up until she got a boyfriend and he put his 2 cents in. Everything went downhill from there. Do I blame him? This much. But I blame her for the rest, because whatever was working before him had to stay working while he's there. So when my 3 youngest ones, the thing about it is that me and their mom are on the same page as far as let's get the schoolwork done. Yet you have to have a respect boundary when your kids are talking reckless. You cannot allow, well, I'll do it later. No, you need to do it right now, because later is going to come, and then later is going to come, and then I'm too tired to do it. No, you didn't do it right now. I'm a firm believer in you don't got to whoop your kids to get results. You do not. You just take. We're in an era we can take stuff because it's so, what is it? The digital world. It's the internet world. Okay, you don't care about the phone. Give me that. You don't care, but you care about that computer. You care about that social media. Yeah, let me have that. Let me get that video game. Let me hold on to that for a minute, because we have to take that. And once you do that, you'll see what's good. But when one parent is taking and the other parent is still giving, you're fighting an uphill battle you can never win. And then it becomes stressful. I tell all my friends this. I don't care if you have a new person in your life or not. They cannot come in and tell you how to co-parent with the person that you've been co-parenting with. They cannot. It's impossible. Because if you and that person break up, you still got to co-parent with that other parent until your kid are 18 years of age. People will always try to tell you, well, this is what I do with my kids. Well, these ain't your kids. These kids belong to me and somebody else, and I need to co-parent with that person for those rules. Now, you get that one parent who they don't care. Look, you don't live with me, so go ahead. I happen to be a father who cares regardless of the scenario. I care. If you, this is what I say to any guy who's dating a man, who's dating a woman with kids. If she doesn't invite you in on the conversation, don't join it. But if she invites you and say, hey, what do you think? Or how would you handle this? Well, give them your realest opinion. Well, what worked for me may not work for you, but let me tell you what I did with my kid. Whoa. Women, when you ask the dude that question, expect a real answer. Most men are not going to go to the woman they're with and be like, yo, how did you handle this with your sons? You know what I'm saying? With your daughters. How did you handle that? Oh, this is what I did. Yeah. You know if that's going to work for your kids or not. I just did this and did that, and they hated me, but it worked. Nah, that shit worked for your kids. Let me just sit down and try another avenue before I try that. Because I'm a firm believer, like, if you see the source of the problem is the other parent, you may at some point need to step in and have the other parent like, look, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. Because this is what you're doing, and this is what's causing me to have to put up with what I got to put up with. Most kids, though, they'll be like, you know what? I'll just go live with the other parent. Go, let them go. But make sure they understand you're going to stay, though. You're going to stay. My oldest daughter used to do that with me and her mom all the time. I'll go live with my dad. She's like, all right. She comes stay with me about a week or two. I'm going to go back to my mom. Oh, wait a minute. If you go back to your mom, you got to stay. This back and forth thing ain't getting it. You got to stay there. Because as long as they have an option to go bing, 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 bing. I don't like the way you're treating me. I don't like the way you're... Co-parenting, you have to put a stop at the ping pong table. You got to stop it. You feel me? I love to see when fathers interact with their children and they just say, you know what? I have to do this because I want my kid to be better than me as far as getting ahead in life and not struggling. Sometimes you're going to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend who, oh my God, you're going to go do this with your kid. Well, how come we're not going to go do this? Because this was the time I put aside for co-parenting with me and my children. And when I do want you to be around, I'll tell you. That's all you got to say. Sometimes you got to be careful who you allow to be around your kids, because your kids have to feel like that person won't let nothing happen to me. You know what I'm saying? They got to feel that way. No matter who I would date in life, their kids automatically going to know. Ain't no way nobody going to be able to put their hands on me, not while this guy's around, not on his watch. But they should feel that with their father. And if you're a sorry father, all you care about is materialistic things, then let me explain something to you, partners. Your kid don't respect you. Your kid don't care two nickels about you. This goes for moms too. You want to buy your kids? Buy them. Buy them all up. They don't respect you at the end of the day. They just know like, oh, he messed up. He gonna buy me something. Come on, man. Start making your daughters understand what it means to be a woman. But women, let me tell you something. And this is men too. Every time you guys turn around and a problem occurs, don't say you're acting just like your father or you're acting just like your mother. Don't say that. Do not say that. Because if you got a smart mouth ass kid like I got, mine gonna tell you, oh, I'm acting like my dad? Yeah. So I should leave you too, huh? Mine got a smart mouth like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your daughters walk around dressed like hoes, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it what it is. I don't think 11 to 18-year-olds should be dressing in short-ass shorts with the booty cheeks hanging out. I don't think that they should be allowed to walk around the house without no damn clothes on. I just don't think that's woman ladylike. And I tell my kid all the time, my son especially, listen, you have to make sure your sisters are respectful to themselves. So if you see them doing something or dressing a certain way, you know by the time I see them, it's going to be a problem. Try to nip it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? You parents have got to understand in this new generation that we live in, young girls are not young ladies anymore. They're not. They don't have it. They're not young ladies. What they want to do, oh, my friend dresses this way, but your friend don't got me as their parent. Oh, one of my friends say, no, that was between me and him. I ain't gonna say that. Let me be clear. Just because you are built to wear some shit, don't mean you should wear some shit. Know what I'm saying? You know how many girls I see wear shit they should not wear, and I blame their parents. Because if you see your mom dressing like a hoe, you're going to think it's okay for you to dress like a hoe. If a little boy sees his dad with 6 different women, he going to think it's okay for him to grow up to be with 6 different women. That's why I'm raising my son totally different than what I was taught. Totally different than what I was taught. One thing I tell my son, though, is this. If you're in a relationship, you should not have to argue every day about the same shit. Period. If you have already had an issue and it already has a conclusion and somebody brings it up to you again, nigga, that ain't the person for you. That ain't it, because you're never going to be done with that battle because they're holding on to that battle because there's nothing new to hold on to. There's nothing new. I don't believe anyone should ask you about something that's already had a conclusion. Parents, stop putting your kids in the middle of bullshit. What I mean is, some fathers do this. Hey, you should come live with me because I can give you a better life. No, not kids, listen. Unless your father been there giving you a better life the whole time, why all of a sudden is it a better life now? Mom, stop telling your kids, well, if you were with me and not over there with your dad and his girlfriend, what the girlfriend got to do with being with his father? Nothing. Because some of you moms are jealous that he moved on. You're jealous. Sometimes the girlfriends are jealous. Well, why can't I ride over there with you to go pick up the kids? Because that ain't the plan. The plan is I'm going to go by myself, pick up the kids, and I'll be back. You guys have to respect that. When a man tells you that, it's because he's trying to keep that BS down here. Nope. Yep. Not going to happen. And then when the time comes where y'all are going to meet and talk, then the pull-up is better. You know what I'm saying? But you can't just want to jump head first into that. Nah, hell no. Nah, I'm a firm believer. Like, keep your personal business, and when it's co-parenting, that's kind of like a business. That ain't personal. That's just business. But keep your relationship and your baby mom shit and your baby daddy shit. Keep that shit as separate as you can until you know the people are gonna get along. You feel me? Your children will look at you and they'll mimic what you do. So if you have a bad attitude, they're going to have a bad attitude. If you have that, I don't care type attitude, your kid's going to have that, I don't care type attitude. My daughter's a comedian. She's a clown. She cracks jokes. Why? Because her father's a comedian, a clown. He cracks jokes. So she took on my habits. My son is very cautious and he watches what goes on. He gets that from his father. My other daughter, she cried. She's emotional. She get that from her mom's side. But if she has to put hands on you and beat you down, she will, because she get that from her dad. So you have to co-parent a whole scenario, not a half. That's all I want to say to y'all. Don't push co-parenting out the window. What happens is when you hear a father say, anything close to my kid needs to come stay with me, is because he no longer want to pay child support. He no longer wants to pay child support. He's just like, I don't want to pay it. So come live with me for a while. And we can just stop the child support. That's all that is. Because if he really wanted you to live with him, or if your mom wanted you to really live with, they would have got you some years ago. Years ago. Y'all be mentally destroying kids because there's a back and forth. Kids will be like, what the fuck am I doing? But I'm going to say this to the moms. Stop trying to make your daughters be like you. Just because you was good at something don't mean they going to be good at it. Let them find their own wave to make them the person they're going to be. Fathers, if you was a superstar athlete, that don't mean your son going to be a superstar athlete. It just don't mean that. Now, you can be like, yo, you want to play? Yeah, all right, cool. But don't force it into their life. There's some parents like, well, when I was your age, I was doing whoop, whoop, whoop. Man, my son, one time, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off. I had my son at the school. He was probably like in third grade, and we were practicing, and we were playing a little one-on-one. And my son crossed me where I stumbled. And my son said, had you fallen, I would have stopped playing. I said, why? Because my goal would have been met as far as beating my dad at something and making him look crazy. Now, after that, I started blocking his shit to the bleachers. But when he shot the ball and it went in, he said, you can block it all you want, but you ain't going to block all of them. Eventually, old man, you're going to get tired and I'm going to go by you. Facts. And he tells me now, like, okay, I'm ready to play ball like I need to. I want you to train me. Full throttle, baby. Full throttle training. Because now his goal is to get to college. My daughters, they be like, yo, we hoop all the time. We ain't tripping. But I'm not forcing it on them any longer. I'm letting them figure it out. I was that father, yo, man, your name Kobe. Nigga, you Kobe. Nigga, you got to go out there and put in the work like the Mamba. Now he's like, okay, I'm ready. Because it has to be at his own mentality, his own timing. If you are a doctor, nurse, teacher, whatever, don't try to pressure your kid to become what you are. Find their niche and work with that shit. Because one of your parents are not going to support you once you hit 18. They're going to be like, oh, you're 18. I don't have nothing to do with you. Stick with the parent that wants to see the best out of you. Carter's Life.